This week, we talk about protein. Also, we'll take the mystery out of Ghrelin and check in to see if I'm any less fat. Let's get into it.
Dude, the fuck? What are you doing?
What?
Well, nothing. Never mind. That's perfectly normal. What was I thinking? The hell are you doing?
Oh, you didn't hear?
What? Eat your shirt?
Well, besides the fact that this is a beautiful, the real food pyramid shirt available on FuriousMerch.com.
And it has vegetables at the top.
See, it's got the cow, the pig, and the chicken.
Yeah.
The real food pyramid. Available at FuriousMerch.com. Aside from the fact that this is a beautiful shirt, I don't know if you heard it. I don't know if you heard the latest, Dewey.
Oh boy.
But cotton is now edible.
You know who discovered this?
I was just getting a little snack.
You know who discovered it?
George Washington Carver.
Buddy the Elf. When he's in the doctor's office and he keeps eating those cotton balls, he was way ahead of time.
Way ahead of his time. Yeah, you didn't hear? And the funny thing is, this article came out in 2018, but I saw somebody post it in a carnivore group as a joke.
Dude, you read some weird websites.
Right. But the edible cottonseed is now a thing, and it could have big implications for world hunger. Apparently, it tastes like hummus. I don't really.
That doesn't
hummus.
that's not a selling point.
I know, but how funny is that if they start growing cotton and people start eating it? And I think
what are the macros?
Okay, you got your protein, you got your fat.
Prove it.
You got your fat. You got your carbs, you got your cotton. How much cotton you get in a day?
Right. Well, how much?
100 grams
how many,
per.
Of the big three, how many are in cotton?
I don't know, man. I think, okay, it says
It
this is a
lowers
potentially
blood
big deal.
potassium.
Cottonseed is high in protein, and there's a lot of cotton in the world, according to the San Antonio Express News.
Well,
it's
it
grown
say
by
eat
nearly
seed.
20 million farmers in 80 countries, many with high rates of malnutrition.
Because they're eating cotton.
And so, yeah, right. And so cottonseed could be a solution if only people could eat it, but it's poisonous to many animals, including people, due to a toxin called gossypol. Okay. Lowers blood potassium to dangerous levels, resulting in fatigue and even paralysis. It is, however, digestible by cows. See, there's that argument that vegans love to use, you know?
No, that we're actually really rudiments.
Right.
Yeah. We only have one.
Yeah, they have 4 stomachs.
We only have one stomach, honey.
Completely different.
Right.
Says you could meet the basic protein requirements of hundreds of millions of people if they find the solution. They've been working with an engineer for a solution to the issue.
Oh, whoa, wait a second. So this isn't even a thing yet?
I don't know if it is now. I just saw this article and it made me laugh, and I thought it'd be a good joke.
For sure.
But you know,
stupid is as stupid does.
They won't see. What's scary though is I wouldn't put it past some of the forces out there that, given if you could raise cattle on a certain acre versus, hey, let's plant some cotton and make it edible, some people would choose that. Right?
I suppose.
If you think red meat's evil and bad for the environment and going to give you heart attacks, some people would choose cotton to eat. So that's it's kind of scary, but it's a thing, man. I don't know. It says because of that gossypol, cottonseed itself hasn't been a source of human food. So I think they're working on it. I don't know if they got there yet. Maybe they realized it was dumb. I don't know, man. Oh, there we go. Someday might take milks, nut butters, and chopped nut substitutes. The protein can be extracted and used in energy bars or flours to make protein-enhanced breads. Yeah, they'll figure out a way, man. They're going to make...
I'm all for that part. Whatever. Further the science.
Yeah,
but
explore it.
Sounds kooky to me.
Sounds kooky. I'd rather just have the cows eat the cotton.
Yeah, let's give it to them.
And then eat them. That already has been proven to work.
Right. Right.
Oh, dude. All right. Well, that was funny. Here's another thing, and I got to tell you about I was just down in Florida for a few days, and
you're gonna mukbang cotton.
I practically mukbanged while I was down there, but I'll get into that. But one thing that I thought was interesting, I saw this article where airlines may have to start weighing passengers at the
I saw
gates.
that.
Did you see that?
Yep.
Well, think about it.
I've been saying this for years, by the way.
They base their fuel consumption, the safety, how many bags they can have.
How long it takes to get there.
Yeah, exactly. It's all based on how much does that aircraft weigh, and they know what the fuel weighs. They know what the bags weigh or the capacity of the storage compartment. That's why you have a 40-pound limit on your bags.
Right.
Well, guess what they aren't checking?
People.
The fat ass in the seat.
People. I've said for years. Well, I haven't said that for years, but I have said for years that the extremely obese, and I'm just speaking factual here.
Do you remember
People
Kevin
get all
Smith?
wound up when I say this.
By the way, do you remember Kevin Smith?
Yeah.
Too fat to fly and that whole thing?
Oh, no,
Because he
but I
got kicked
remember
off
him.
of Southwest.
Oh, yeah.
That director, he got kicked off of Southwest because
He's
he
the
did,
Chasing
Clerks,
Amy and
Chasing Amy and all that.
Mallrats. Yeah.
I love him, but it was a whole thing a few years back.
Yeah.
Where he got kicked off a flight because
I do remember that now.
You would not fit in the seat.
Right.
And, that's only happened to he was over 300.
That's not uncommon now.
Well, right, exactly. That's the scary part.
But my argument has always been, if you're not going to charge them for 2 seats, then give me a discount on half the seat I couldn't use.
Right.
Because I was like this, squished over for 3 hours.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of, and the thing is the average person's weight has gone up significantly. That's the key because they have, 250 seats on a plane times the average weight of, let's say, 150 pounds equals a certain amount. Now, if the average person weighs 180,
right?
If the average has crept up, that changes all their calculations. Fuel costs more. They, like you said, it's going to take longer to get there. They have to change their schedules.
Right.
Cost more in fuel. So they have to either charge more per ticket.
I think they just need to make them buy 2 tickets.
Well, the problem is how do you, those airline seats are freaking one size, right? So you're saying pop up the armrest and just take up 2?
And just pop up the armrest and kind of lean towards one.
Right.
Like if you're extremely obese, larger person, and not just obese, but also just big in general.
Well, I feel bad for anybody that's over 6'3".
Oh, it's horrible.
You're only 6'1", and you probably can.
I hate it. Yeah, it's.
I'm
so
5'8",
hard.
and I am not super comfortable in an airline seat.
I always ask for the bulkhead or
where there's nothing in front, not another row right in front of you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's.
But it's. I've said if you're just gonna have to force them because sitting next, and it never fails, dude. Every time I fly, I can almost guarantee you when I'm looking down the aisle at all the people on both sides and I'm wondering which row mine is. And I don't even need to look at the row numbers. I just need to look for the biggest NFL looking motherfucker in the plane. And I guarantee my seat's next to him.
You're in the middle.
Yeah.
You're in the middle
Guaranteed.
between 2 linebackers.
And I look at him and go, never fails.
Oh, dude. Can you imagine?
And there'll be 2 90-pound grandmas with a seat open in between them.
Right. Well, here's the thing, though. How do you elegantly do this? Because
you don't.
Yeah,
you do it with a 2x4 across the face.
It's going to be there's no nice PC way to go.
Nope.
Sorry, you're too fat.
But if you spell it out on the website when you buy a ticket, and if it says please enter weight, and then you are honest,
it's already problematic.
Why?
Well, because people are going to. I'm just telling, not for me.
People are going to lie.
People are going to freak though. They go, "How dare you? That's fat shaming."
No, it's not. It's fucking physics. The plane will crash. We got to have everything balanced, and we can't have so many people that are heavy. Mm-hmm. And we got to save money.
I'm with you.
So we can't have, half the plane be over 300. Otherwise, we're going to use more. Fuel consumption's going to go up. Yep. Guess what that happens then? My ticket goes up.
Right.
Why should my plane ticket go up?
Well, right. And like I said, they weigh your bag. So,
for the same reason.
You get a certain size of bag, number one, because they have a certain size storage area. And it has to weigh a certain amount for the exact same reason. So if you're trying to transport dumbbells,
right,
you get dinged.
Yep.
You got to pay more.
Yep.
So they're already doing it, but that's not personal.
And I don't care. I feel there's a vast majority of the people that will pay more. That'll go. Yeah, I knew that was coming.
How about this though?
I figured.
How about this? there's the mukbangers of the world, the overweight, obese people. How about a bodybuilder that's 275 and jacked?
He still needs to pay more.
Right, I know.
He's heavy. Period.
But he's getting penalized for that.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
He's an anomaly, and it's all about physics and weight. It's not about appearance and shitty lifestyle. It's about physics. It's about weight.
And here's the other thing too. The
NFL lineman, he's got to pay it too.
Because I weigh like 170ish right now, and I'm planning to get down to 160 something eventually. And you weigh
Spoiler alert.
What do you weigh right now?
250.
Right. So then you probably have to pay more than me just because of genetics. Some of that too, height.
But is it a graduated scale, or is it over 300? You have to pay more.
Yeah. Right. Or is there like lines of sections? Like, because obviously the other thing too is like, okay, I just flew to Florida. Well, my youngest daughter weighs like 60 pounds. Right.
Right. Yeah, so you get a discount.
So do you add up the weight of your whole party or whatever and then pay so much per ticket? Is it less for her and more for
that would be impossible.
More for me?
Yeah, that would be impossible.
Well, I just, it's fraught with danger. I don't envy them.
It has to be, no.
I don't envy their
position. It has to just be, all right, here's the cutoff. It's 300 pounds. And for every 10 pounds over 300, it's $50.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't envy them trying to figure that out. And this is going to kind of dovetail into my trip because I made a few observations while I was there. Number one, they do you dirty on the water slides.
Why?
They weigh your ass. You know that? Did you know that?
No.
Okay, so there's these water slides, and we went to Universal.
I don't go on water slides because I'm not 7. But go on.
Oh, there's these family ones. It's called Volcano Bay. Awesome spot. But there's these rafts that can hold like five, a family of 5.
That sounds cool. Okay.
Okay. So
I'm thinking of,
but
okay.
When you walk up to the platform, I noticed it right away. And the first one went, I'm like, that's weird.
So it looked like one of those ground loops at a stop sign or a stoplight?
Right. Well, they shifted the party in front of us over to get in the raft. And then they said, okay, you guys all stand right there. And I'm like, stand right there. Okay. And I noticed it was a segmented out.
Like the ground loop at a stoplight.
The scale at a truck stop.
Yeah, well, that's what that
or whatever.
Yeah, that's what that is.
And I looked, and he was looking at a screen, and it was hidden from our view, and he was totaling up the weight of our party that was going to go in that tube because they must have a maximum weight where if you're, if you got 5 300-pounders,
why can't you just eyeball it? Why can't you just go? You're gonna have to split up.
Because they got minimum wage 15-year-olds running these things.
Sure.
And they have to have a number. And if it's over, 700, you don't go. Or you got to split up into 2 parties. And that actually happened all the reverse way. No, the reverse way. There was 2 skinny 12-year-olds, and they said, you guys can't go alone. You're too light.
Right.
Because they might get stuck.
Yep.
Not heavy enough to go down the slide. So they actually had to go with the 3 people behind them together on one tube.
Oh.
So they're watching it on both ends. But I was like, wow, they did us dirty because they don't tell you. Mm-hmm. And if it's fine, they just go, okay, go ahead. They don't say we're weighing you. They don't say, oh, you're under the limit or whatever, because they don't want to have that conversation.
Oh, for sure.
Unless they absolutely have to. But I was like,
good job watching your energy intake. Yeah, don't say that.
Right. But, nowadays, that's a concern because if that slide is made to handle a maximum weight, you don't want an inner tube full of fatties getting lodged halfway through and having to
get them out.
Get the jaws of life in there.
Shut it down. Come in with a helicopter.
Or the giant plunger. The giant plunger pushing them down.
You have to send down that little hook that comes down from the helicopter.
Just squirt a bunch of canola oil down so it gets all slippery. Oh. But yeah, so that was kind of interesting. And another thing, okay, so that was interesting how they did that. And that, maybe that's what they're going to do at the airline, at the gate, have a scale. And then.
Well, they'll definitely have a scale because they're not going to, it's not going to be the honor system.
No, or eyeballing.
Yeah.
No. But are they going to tell, or are they just going to, if your party looks, or, if you're within the range, they'll just wave you through and not even say anything. And then if you're
nope.
TF, too fat to fly, then they'll pull you aside.
Nope. When you stop with your screenshot of your boarding pass and you wave the QR code underneath the little screen, you're going to be standing on a scale.
Right. Yeah. That's how they're going to do it, man.
But then what happens when they go, boop, Oh,
because auga.
Sorry, Fat Josh. You need to pay more. Now, what do? Set you aside and let everyone else on?
Dude.
Or do they just hold up the line and
that's like suicide
you have to get out your credit card?
That's suicide worthy right there. If you get called out in front of the crowd like that and say you're too fat. I mean, yeah, I think I agree with you. They have to establish the guidelines way, way ahead of time. You got to know what you're getting into. You got to know you're not going to get it. You're not going to sneak by.
Here's what they need to do. If all the CEOs of airlines are listening.
CEO of Jawline?
Yeah,
or airline.
Airline.
He weighs too much because of his jawline bones.
You're obsessed with that guy. I like to forget about him as soon as we leave here. No, but if the CEOs of the airlines are listening, I know they all are.
Of course.
Well, yeah, naturally. So if you're listening, what you need to do is when you're purchasing your ticket, a box pops up and it says, enter your personal information. 6'1", 215.
8 inches.
If it pops up and says you must pay, you're over the limit or whatever, how they phrase it, so it's a little delicate.
Yeah.
You need to pay $50 more. If you say, fuck that, hit the back button and put 145, and they're like, "Boop, you meet all blah blah blah," and they push you right through. Wow. And then you get there, and when you're scanning your QR code and you're heavy, they go, "Oh, it was 50 when you were buying it. Yeah. Now it's 150."
Oh yeah. Well, kind of like when you check your bag or you pay for your bag before you get there. It's cheaper than if you do it at the airport. They bend you over because they don't want you. They want to know ahead of time what they're dealing with.
For sure.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's the only way they could really do it. And then have that warning pop up when it says you type in 145.
Warning, you're too fat to fly.
No, we don't believe you're 145. Warning, you're not 145. We have your webcam on. We can see you.
We can tell by the perspiration on the fingers that touch this phone. You're way more than that.
But seriously, if they just have this thing pop up after you enter 145, what are you, 5'3", what are you? 5, whatever?
5'8".
All right. That's close. Can't go a week without Josh short jokes. But then it says, wait, 145. Have a thing that pops up so everybody knows, oh, I didn't see that. Bullshit. It popped up and it wouldn't let you go on until you clicked on it, acknowledged it. Right. That says, if you are not 145 at the terminal, you will pay X.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
They would avoid all those embarrassing circumstances.
It could work.
But then you know what?
And it's a great source of revenue because if they move that threshold up and down, it's like a dial for how much more money do you want to make because they know how fat the average person is.
Yep.
So they can just we need a little more money this month. Turn down the threshold a little 5 pounds.
And guess what? Right. Guess what this is going to do? And we're not going to go down this rabbit hole right now. I swear to God, we're not. I won't let us, even though I'm the rabbit hole king.
Well, I'm showing up in a Speedo, number one.
Hey, there you go.
Because
here's the logical dilemma that most people are going to face ideologically. So what happens to all of the people going, you can't ask me how fat I am, but here's my vaccination card.
Right. Yeah.
What's the difference?
Right.
All right, move on. Well, we won't go down that. No, we can't go down the rabbit hole. I promised.
I veto that. I would just say, one affects the actual flight dynamics, right?
So does giving everyone coronavirus.
Well, yeah.
You can't say
not the vaccinated ones because they've already got vaccinated.
Yeah,
all right,
but
now we're done.
Here's the problem: you can't tell a private company what to do.
All right.
It's their airplane.
And I mean, I think you'd have a way easier time justifying the fat thing because you can say, look, it's just pure, like you said, it's pure physics. It's pure, we charge you more on the weight.
It's physics and it's virology.
Here's what you could say. If you have for every 10 pounds less your bag weighs, you get 10 pounds more in your gut. So if you pack really light.
Screw that. Then you're still making the person uncomfortable next to you. You still need to pay more.
Yeah.
Or don't sit next to me. Because if I have to fly for 3 hours, 4 hours with my elbow like this inside my armrest, I'm going to fucking snap.
All right. Well, we've solved it, people.
It is.
It's solved. There you go. CEO of airline, call us.
I'm going to, even though they will listen as a reminder, I'm going to email them the link.
Okay.
To this episode.
Yep. Okay. So back to my water park trip. Okay.
I thought we were done with that.
No, we're not. We're just getting started.
Rub it in.
So I noticed
1%er over here going on vacations.
I got it because the tickets were crazy cheap. $74 round trip to Orlando.
Come on.
No.
Can't even drive to the cities for that.
I know. Exactly. Well, it was out of MSP, but
still,
whatever. Still freaking cheap.
Right.
So I'm not gold plated over here.
Okay, Thurston.
So when I was there, now that I'm so like focused on this fitness thing, I can't.
You noticed that?
I did. I sat there. I sat there in my lawn chair. Okay.
I said you noticed fat people in case you didn't hear me.
Yeah. Oh, I noticed them. Well, they're unavoidable. They're freaking everywhere. So I sat in my lawn chair and I counted, like for 10 minutes. I just watched people walk by and I tried to find anybody I considered not obese. And honestly, the only people that weren't almost were pretty much young kids who just haven't got there yet.
Some of them have.
And way too many have. And a few adults. But seeing somebody with visible abs was extremely rare. I mean, when I saw like an actual lean dude, like I saw a couple lean jack dudes, I'm like, oh my God, there's one. It was like a unicorn. They were so rare.
And it used to be fitty.
Right. Now I'm going to.
You're going to pull up that old picture.
Well, I got a couple.
From the boardwalk.
I got a couple here, yep. So.
Did you get people's permissions? That was before John.
Okay, so this is like,
that's why there's so many.
This is like the 1910s or something. I mean,
Tens?
But look, I mean, everybody's lean.
Because they're starving.
Just
kidding.
It's because of their.
They weren't.
Yeah, because of their diet. They were just eating whole foods. And
That's France?
I'm not sure where this is.
Judging by the
it says
architecture.
Graham Greene, Brighton. So it might be New York. But, everybody's freaking lean because they were eating whole foods. They weren't over-consuming oils and processed, refined sugars and carbs.
And it wasn't economically abundant.
Yeah, I mean,
you couldn't go. You couldn't feast every night.
Well, feast on horribly fattening, hyperpalatable things. It was potatoes
on anything
everywhere.
Yeah, they needed to ration. They needed to be smart because there just wasn't an overabundance like there is now.
But even if there was, like, if you could eat as much as you wanted of whatever, how many we've said this many times, how many potatoes can you eat?
Right.
You're not going to overeat calories on boiled potatoes. And those were in abundance. But, I mean, you try to find a fat person in this picture, that's the unicorn. Okay, now here's a picture of, I think this is Miami, like within the last March of 2020. Now, almost everybody's fat. If you walked around and you measured everybody's waistline and did the whole waistline to height, and how many people would you find under 0.5? It would be pretty much young kids who are like super skinny, want to be Instagram models.
Mm-hmm.
But most people look like this dude. He's got probably 45-inch waist, and he's probably 60 tall.
Not to lend any credence to the whole move more, eat less mantra, but I'm glad you brought this up because one thing I did observe on vacation one time, excuse me, is I witnessed somebody, maybe he was my age, I don't know. I'm shocked to learn that people are my age and they look like they're 60.
Right.
But I watched him, not stalkingly, but I watched him, and he came out of the lobby into the hotel pool area and sat down, adjacent to me within earshot, obviously, so I could hear him. But he said, it just feels good to finally relax. And I was prejudgy. I had my prejudgy pants on.
Of course.
And I said, take a break from what?
So you spoke to him?
No.
Or you were just
in my inner monologue
questioning yourself.
was like, take a break from what?
Right.
Working in a coal mine?
Yeah, you know.
Being a lumberjack in the 1850s, what are you taking a break from?
Being Joe Cubicle, most likely.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Why do you have to take a load off if you're never putting the load on?
Right. What he meant was mentally.
For sure.
Not physically.
For sure he did. Yeah. But that still makes me think maybe we need to work hard enough to actually need a break.
Right.
Physically.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the other thing, too, is like with the, you know, increase in advancement in technology, obviously there's machines that do most of that stuff now. So you're not out having to, you know, lumberjack
shit. Right. Yeah.
We're
the victim of our own technology. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're making it easier, and most of those manual labor jobs are going away. Right. So really the responsibility is that much more on the individual to simulate that level of activity you would have gotten in the previous picture. Like, what do you think these people were doing for work?
Well,
farmers.
Oh, they're factory workers. It's all industrial.
Workers, all industrial work.
Yeah,
not that was
and
good.
It was hard work.
They might have died of black lung when they were 32, but
sure. But it was hard work.
Oh yeah.
And then the you know, the spouses are. Let's face it. I'm not trying to be sexist, but in this picture in 19,
you don't have to try.
1911,
just comes naturally.
It doesn't. I try hard not to. So in 1911, the wives were at home.
Yep.
Being homemakers and taking care of the kids.
Carrying kids around.
And guess what they were doing, though? Making everything from scratch.
Making all the
scrubbing shirts by hand on the washboard.
Exactly, right.
Shit was hard.
On their own washboard tabs.
Right, because they had them.
Because they had them, yeah.
Shit was hard.
Right. Yeah.
We just, I'll say it, I've said it a million times, I'll say it again, probably a million more times. We've just become so soft, mentally and physically.
Yep. And I found this other article, too, where it talks about the body fat percentage over the decades. And, you know, it's kind of interesting. So it's got this 1850, and it shows a dude here, very lean. And then I think it just averages out the average body fat percentage. You know, it's obviously this is completely, you know, blanket statement. And then you can move the widget through the years and watch the gut just get bigger and bigger.
He's doing so good so far. I'm guessing about 1985.
Handles, you know, and then
1990.
You know, and then 20. You know, so now you got the gut that we see in the beach picture.
Yep.
And you know, it's not crazy extreme. It's just that when you see everybody like this, and like we've said many times,
it's just normal.
That's just normal now. But if you saw this guy compared to all those lean people in the 1850, that's the difference between being healthy and not.
Right.
And having all these chronic occurrences of disease and
careful,
all the things that come with
careful. You can still be healthy and fat.
Yeah, so this is a pretty interesting article. Obviously, I'll post it in the show notes, but it talks about just as a society what our preferences were too, because it talks about when we preferred really lean bodies to more muscular, to like, and then lean and muscular combined, and people were trying to put on weight, but then they ended up.
That's Adam Carolla. What was the name of that show? No, that's not Adam
the
Carolla.
Man Show.
That's
that's the
Adam
Man versus Food guy.
Yeah, isn't his name Adam?
Yeah, Adam something. Yep.
You remember he quit and then got all skinny?
Did he? Wow.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting article there, but talks about the body fat percentage through time. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and
but you remember when you were fat back in the 1800s, it was a social status. It meant you were wealthy,
right? That you could afford to not have a manual labor job, and you could afford all the sweets and fats you wanted.
The white cake with sweet frost.
Yep. So now, just to kind of drive the body fat percentage point home a little bit more too. I'm 49. So for me, ideal is 17 to 23. And remember my last check, I was 21.4. So I'm in the ideal range, but I'm shooting for lean. And the average is 23 to 29. Over fat, they call it, would be 29 to 31. And when I was at that water park, dude, every guy my age was this or higher.
Without a doubt.
I mean,
and that's the norm. The overfat is the norm.
Like I said, when I saw the fairly lean, when I saw visible abs, that was a unicorn.
Right.
That was 1 out of 100.
Especially now, this is what gets me excited. especially the just the abs in general is a unicorn.
Right.
What about the abs on the guy in the 47 to 49?
Oh, right. That's double unicorn.
Well, yeah.
That's a unicorn with two horns.
It's like if Unicorn and Sasquatch had a kid.
Right.
That'd be that guy.
It's a unisquatch.
Right.
A squatchicorn. Either one. Yeah, craziness. So that was just, once you're kind of like so tuned into this stuff, you just can't, you see it everywhere.
You
Like
can't
what's that called when you
turn it off.
When you buy a yellow Volkswagen Bug?
Yeah, I
you
know.
see
I was
them
just
everywhere.
talking about this the other day. And the person who brought it up couldn't fucking remember what it was called either.
Right. But yeah, there's the something effect or whatever. But yeah, so now that I'm so focused on this stuff, I just see it everywhere. But
Yep.
and one thing that was extra sad too when I was checking, I went to the front desk at this hotel we're at, and I started to get in line, and all of a sudden I hear beep beep boop boop boop. There's a freaking here comes a scooter. Okay.
Okay.
A couple, both on scooters.
Are they racing?
To the grave.
Oofda.
You laughed at that.
I did a little
You're going
bit.
to hell.
Because it's kind of true.
They both a couple checking into this, Universal Studios property hotel on scooters, both spilling over it, way too fat to walk. They could not walk, and both of them, and they're navigating around the queue.
That's heartbreaking.
I know.
I made a joke, but it's heartbreaking.
It's freaking sad, and I wanted to go. You don't have to, and of course I don't know. Maybe they both have spinal problems.
How old were they?
But, my age, 50-ish.
Come on.
Oh yeah. But on the deathometer, they're way over here.
It's not about lifespan; it's about health span.
Exactly.
Who gives a shit if you're still alive if you got to ride a scooter
But
and have 50 fucking prescriptions you got to take every
gun
day?
to my head, I'd say they were 50. Yeah, which is ridiculous. I mean, and they were both,
Maybe they got in a car accident.
Right. Well, like I said, you never know. I had my judgy pants on.
I always do. I can't take
my
them off.
assumption is they were too fat to walk, and
Well, were they visibly?
They're visibly fat.
No, that's what it is.
Very
then.
visibly very fat. And of course, when you're going to these theme parks and stuff, there's a lot of walking. So maybe they're just taking the easy way out, kind of like people that ride the golf cart at the course. But in the checkout,
That's usually for time.
in the check-in line at the hotel,
Yeah.
if you could walk, you'd be walking because it's narrow to get around these little.
Right.
In fact, she had to, in order to navigate the corner, she had to do the 4-point turnaround.
Oh, like Austin Powers.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So yeah, if it wasn't if it was for medical reasons,
How could they both though?
right? Yeah.
And they were both big, and of course, there's always exceptions. If they
What if
both,
they-
if they both, happen to have spinal injuries, okay, whatever. But I doubt it. And it's just the extreme example of what happens when you reach that level of obesity. You just say, "F it, this is easier."
It's like
It's the ultimate in choosing the comfort over doing the hard thing.
it's sedentary level expert.
Exactly. Right. And the thing is, I don't know. I feel like they should be way more ashamed than they were. In fact, if anything, they're like, get out of my way. I'm backing up. I'm beeping now. Get out of my way, assholes. I mean, I would be so ashamed if I had one of those things. Unless, obviously, if it was, for a spinal injury or whatever. But if it was due to my just growing obese over time to the point where I couldn't walk, I would be so filled with shame.
Right.
And I feel like shame is way underutilized anymore.
Kind of like bullying.
And it's powerful.
Yep.
Kind of like bullying.
No, seriously, there's a guy on YouTube that
Kind of like bullying.
says back in the day there was a certain amount of bullying that was required, almost needed in social settings
to toughen you up. And
and just to give you some tough skin and
not to get all social, but I think, just like immune systems, just like muscles, I think, character needs some pushback, needs something to fight, push against. If everything's just smooth sailing all the time, You never learn how to overcome.
You never learn how to punch the fucking bully in the nose.
Right. Or overcome, or get back up again.
Right.
If you get your ass kicked,
yes.
get up again.
Right. It's at some point in life, you need to be able to go, okay, words aren't working. I'm punching this motherfucker right in the throat.
Right.
As hard as I can.
Quit having your gut hangover into my airline seat, asshole.
That's not bullying.
Well, it would be if you did it to him because you're fit and he's a fat ass. Okay, I found this other article.
It's a choice.
I thought was funny. Kind of ties into our vegan episode last week. So check that out if you haven't, everybody. Jaden Smith, the Smith family. We're talking about Will Smith getting a big gut last week, and he's going to work on it. And
he started a program now.
did he? And on the plane, I watched Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah, and he's
with him
jacked.
and Loris. Yeah,
he's like Michael B. Jordan.
He was like 50 then, and he's great.
He's like Michael B. Jordan, jacked.
Yeah, I mean, he was really in shape. But this whole family I don't get him, man.
Why?
Like his wife's banging rappers. His one kid's binary. The other one's vegan. I mean, they're very California, put it that way.
Which is fine.
Yeah, whatever.
It takes all types.
Whatever. Okay, so the Jaden one, so he's he's 20-something, I think now. And he is opening up a restaurant. And again, I love this guy's intentions here.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to open up a restaurant to serve free food to the homeless, but it's going to be only vegan food. And that's the kicker here. He did
That's
the
fine.
Karate Kid. And
that's fine if he wants to give away free
yeah, I mean,
food.
again, I think his heart's in the right place, but I just feel like it's misguided to think that that's going to be the most nutritious option. Something that can basically lead to starvation if not done properly. And
it won't. They're eating. They're already starving. They need something.
But imagine if he was handing them out eggs and bacon. How much more beneficial that would be than to giving them carrots and kale.
I get it, but guess what? It's his thing. Watch your own bobber, dude.
I know, but
I get it. I get you.
It's just I just thought that was interesting, like the choice and what I'm not. Like I said, I admire his intentions, and I got nothing against him.
But young Gen Zers could be fucking pushing homeless people down in the alley and just robbing them.
Well, in California, you're tripping them over them every 5 feet.
Right, but he's not doing that. So I think he's a good role model.
Yeah, no, I think I admire his intentions, but it's just interesting how he thinks that's the ultimate way to help them.
People don't know what they don't know.
Right. We're here to tell them. But Jaden, if you're out there, give them some eggs and bacon.
It'd be cheaper too.
Exactly. I mean, what do you think kale's going to do for a homeless dude?
Well,
you wipe his ass with it, first of all.
Hopefully he's not feeding them kale.
Well, it says right here.
Hopefully he's feeding them like beans and quinoa and rice. And
he provided healthy food around the streets as the truck in the manor provided brown paper. What the brown paper? Who writes this shit? Brown paper giving carrots and kale to over 8,000 homeless living around the area. And now he's all set to expand his movements so the work can be done more than the previous. What the hell is that? Who wrote this?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's some horrible grammar there.
Why does it say advertisement above it?
I think I clicked out of an ad.
Oh, okay.
I killed it because it was annoying.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, so just interesting stuff there. That's a weird family, though. But I do love Will Smith's. Have you seen he's like almost like a Tony Robbins wannabe kind of. Have you followed his like Instagram stuff?
And he's good shit. I like him.
Yeah, he's very, very motivating and trying to chase all his goals and just go for shit.
He's gonna run for president.
Him versus The Rock.
In the primary.
Right, exactly.
They won't be.
Yeah, so interesting stuff.
They won't be following in Arnold's footsteps. Let's just put it that way.
All right, well, our term.
Ghrelin's my favorite.
Ghrelin. Now, I remember you talked about there's two of these, right? There, because there's another one.
Leptin.
Yeah, leptin. Okay, so I did not know what this meant at all. This is another one of those terms I hear all the time and don't know what they mean.
Ghrelin tells you to eat.
So ghrelin, the hunger hormone. So here's the definition of it. So, what is ghrelin? Ghrelin is a hormone produced in the gut. It is often termed the hunger hormone and sometimes called linomorelin. Boy, I'm sure I butchered that.
Ghrelin.
It travels through your bloodstream into your brain, where it tells your brain to become hungry and seek out food, otherwise known as hangry. Ghrelin's main function is to increase appetite. Ooh, we don't want that. It makes you consume more food, take in more calories, and store fat. This shit's evil, man.
Yep. And wait till you get to the part where how it's produced.
The graph below shows how rats injected with the hormone had a rapid increase in weight. Okay, so don't inject me with any ghrelin. Okay, in addition, it affects your sleep-wake cycle, reward-seeking behavior, taste sensation, and carbohydrate metabolism. Wow. The hormone is produced in your stomach and secreted when your stomach is empty. It enters the bloodstream and affects a part of the brain known as the hypothalamus, which governs your hormones and appetite.
Or produced when you have too much cortisol, which is the fight or flight
Stress,
hormone.
the stress hormone.
Yeah. So when you're in flight or fight mode, you produce cortisol. Cortisol triggers the production of ghrelin.
I bet that's right on this next paragraph. I bet that's what they say. Want to see if you're right?
Okay.
Well, first we'll cover this one.
Pull the curtain back.
Okay, well, so it says the higher your levels, the hungrier you get. The lower your levels, the more full you feel, and the easier it is to eat fewer calories.
And that's why when what I'm going with before you scroll down is when you're super, super, super tired, that's why you eat. When you're super, super, super stressed, that's why you eat.
Because of that cortisol.
Because of cortisol.
Okay.
Yep.
So it says ghrelin may sound like a terrible diet-wrecking hormone. However, in the past, it played a role in survival by helping people maintain a healthy level of body fat. Here's a little aside. I guarantee this is the reason why they were able to eat those other passengers when that soccer team crashed. Right?
What do you mean? Oh, just
that movie Alive. Remember that movie?
Overwhelming urge of hunger. That
if you didn't have this ghrelin, you'd be like, I'm good.
Right.
I ain't gonna eat that leg.
Right.
But then,
that
the
kicks in and overtakes, yeah.
And it's been a couple of weeks, and you're like, old Jose over there looks
kind of tastes like chicken.
Trying to look pretty tasty.
Right.
I kind of want to live.
I wouldn't hesitate, by the way.
Yeah. So without that, it'd be a lot tougher for people because then it's all mental. Then
right
here, you got your body's reinforcing that you got to get something
animalistic.
Yep.
Survival takes over.
So it says these days, if you undereat or struggle to gain weight, higher ghrelin levels may help you consume more food and calories per day. Okay, that's I suppose if you're anorexic or something, which is unfortunately.
Or you just want to get big muscles.
Well, right, that's true too. Yeah, I'm always thinking caloric restriction and losing weight.
Because of the people you saw at the beach,
and because that's my focus too.
Right.
So I got to remember that some people are trying to actually get bigger.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's just as common, really. Okay, so what causes ghrelin to rise? Let's see if Dewey was right here. Ghrelin levels typically rise before a meal when your stomach is empty, then they decrease. Okay, that's obvious. Well, you might assume obese people have higher levels. They may be just more sensitive to the effects. In fact, some research shows their levels are actually lower in lean people. Okay. Obese people might have an overly active ghrelin receptor. Ooh, that's not something.
They're talking about in the medical field. They're starting to talk about ghrelin suppressants.
Oh,
over right. Prescription drugs to suppress ghrelin.
And it's funny because a lot of times people say, it's just genetic. They kind of use that excuse of, just basically not being able to put the fork down. And then we're like, put the fucking fork down.
Right.
You lazy bastard.
Right. Coffee does that too.
And there's some people. What?
Caffeine.
How dare you?
What? I said it suppresses ghrelin. That's a good thing.
Right. So there actually may be some truth to that. That there's if all things being equal, the double blind, whatever, or identical twins or whatever, some people may have a different response to that hormone or different levels of production of it, all things being equal. So they might actually, make it harder to stop eating, basically.
For sure.
Okay, we didn't get to the. I know you're right, even though it didn't say it in that paragraph as we predicted. I thought that's where they were going. Okay, so it says prioritize sleep. Yep, you're right there. Increase muscle mass. This is tips to lower ghrelin and reduce hunger. Avoid weight extremes, so you don't want to be obese or anorexic. prioritize sleep, increase muscle mass, eat more protein, which dovetails into our topic for the week, maintain a stable weight, don't have drastic weight changes, and cycle your calories. Periods of higher caloric intake can reduce hunger hormones and increase leptin. Wow, okay.
Bingo.
Boom.
And it also increases, or fiber could probably be added to that list.
Right. Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, that's Ghrelin, so that's interesting.
Or Ghrelin, depends on who you ask.
Okay. Do they say it that way in Canada?
I don't know.
All right, well, let's get into our topic for the week, protein. Oh, I've been so focused on this recently, and it's all due to one guy.
Damn you,
Ted Naiman. He's in my head.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about how this is. I'm seeing a paradigm shift in the nutrition space, and it's interesting to watch. He's sort of crept in on behind.
It's super obvious because you know what? It
seems so obvious now.
And right. And here's the problem why there's a paradigm shift and he's leading it is because he's not fucking wrong. And nobody can prove him wrong.
I know.
Nobody can prove him wrong.
It's crazy. Well, let's first just to define the word protein. Definition of protein from Merriam-Webster. Any of various naturally occurring, extremely complex substances that consist of amino acid residues joined by peptide bonds, contains the element carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, usually sulfur, and occasionally other elements such as phosphorus or iron, and include many essential biological compounds such as enzymes, hormones, or antibodies. Okay, and then the second definition is the total nitrogenous material in plant or animal substances. So that didn't really help us much because, as far as what the
makes sense to me, but nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, as far as what the chemical definition is. Okay,
how much do I need?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what we're concerned about is, because we talked about, and I know there's 4 or 6, whatever, other macros, but the basic 3 that we're talking about are protein, fat, and carbohydrates. Now, here's where, to get back into the paradigm shift. Okay, you teach a keto boot camp, right? Mm-hmm. I came from the Good Calories, Bad Calories, Gary Taubes, end of Atkins, into keto.
Regurgitated Atkins.
Yeah, pretty much regurgitated Atkins, into keto, into carnivore, which is basically keto because of the ratios of, because they're always saying eat fatty meats.
There's not a carnivore that's not in ketosis.
Exactly. And because of the ratio of the and it's all, low carb is the commonality that like carnivore and keto and Atkins all have in common, but it's all the ratio of the fat to the protein. And Ted Naiman comes along and says, I don't care, hit your protein goals. I don't care
where your energy comes from,
whether you choose the fat or the carbs or both, because he's basically saying if you hit the protein goals, that's going to take care of itself. And it just turns everything on its head, because when you're teaching, like, what's your basic pitch for macro percentage when you're doing your keto boot camps?
Well, back up. I don't have a pitch,
or
per se.
Your recommend basic
my keto
baseline.
group. The genesis of my keto group was to just. It came about by saying, you know what? So many people are interested in doing this and want to do this, and they don't know where to start, or they've been fed so much bullshit that it's wrong. So instead of constantly fielding private messages and DMs asking constant questions, you know what? Let's just get everyone together and go through it. And that's kind of how it started.
Right. But
as far as the macro, to answer your question.
Well, it's not an attack on the keto thing. What I'm saying, because I still think that keto is an awesome plan.
For sure, but I needed to preface it with, because I don't want to get fucking pigeonholed as the keto guy.
No, exactly. But you're just saying hey, here's a bright, shiny object that can guide you down the correct path.
And it's a great tool.
It's a great entryway into this.
Yeah,
world.
Absolutely. And people and doctors are buying into it.
People can understand it's everywhere, so that it's not an attack. But it's indicative of what we're going to talk about, because of the whole thing is kind of getting turned, at least for me.
Yep. And to answer your original question,
so
I used to say 75% of your calories from fat.
And how much from protein?
20.
So 75, 20, and then 5% from carbs.
Yep.
Now,
but knowing that that was essentially unachievable for the average Joe or Jane,
right?
Because it's just too much fat and not enough
carbs.
carbs.
It's hard, yeah.
So, but thanks to Teddy, I shifted into, I tell you what, here's how we're going to attack keto for you. Because if you can't have most of your 75% of your carbs come from fat, healthy fat, I get it. Mm-hmm. It's super hard. So here's what we're going to do for you, Josh, since you're having trouble getting to that fat number.
Yep.
I'm just going to have you focus on nothing but that carb number. Mm. And then outside of that 5%, shoot for 0 because you'll hit at least 10.
Yeah.
And I say 5 because you're going to hit at least 10%.
Overshoot a little.
Yep, you always will, because just the natural course of eating normal foods, you're going to eat some carbs. But when I said just worry about that carbs and then make sure that that number is as close as perfect as you can get it, and then let fat and protein fall where they may, protein went way up.
Right.
Protein went way up. Protein became 75%. Fat became the 20, and guess what happened?
Then I'm sure the fat
same fucking result. Same result. Yep. They're not hungry. The fat's falling off, and they're not eating all that fat.
Right, and that's the whole thing that's getting flipped now. At least, it's funny because Ted Naiman came up. I don't know. I probably first heard of him like a year ago, and he was just popping up on occasional podcasts.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And he was kind of the weirdo, like because everybody was like low carb, and he'd be like, I don't care.
Maybe,
carbs.
maybe.
Yeah, well, he would say
depends on how you react.
And what he says is low carb and low fat.
And that's what I'm doing right now.
All he cares about is hit the protein targets.
Yep.
And as a result of that, everything else will be less.
But guess what? I'm finding out, because that's what I'm essentially doing, the PE diet right now.
Okay.
The problem with...
And let's bring up his
the challenge with the PE diet right now for me is holy zoom out, Batman.
I know it's gonna.
Oh, there you go.
It's just the way the.
Oh, did you get the book?
Background. No. This is just his website for it.
Oh. Anyways, the challenge I have, and everyone thinks he's a weirdo because he always has his shirt off, but I would too if I looked like that.
Right.
Now everyone's like, all the women listening to me like, I gotta go to YouTube. Why am I listening to this?
Go look at Ted Naiman.
Anyways,
there he is. Boom.
Yeah, and he's 50.
And he's 50.
Yeah.
He's our age, bastard. And you know what else he does? Not to sidetrack.
Pull tail.
He does body weight. He does like pull-ups to failure.
Oh, it's all calisthenics.
And he does pull-ups and he does he's got a pull-up bar in this, but he goes to like extreme failure with those.
Oh,
so he's working. He's not just doing.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
You can't just go through the motions. That's the guy that wrote the book with him.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Anyways, where was I before you're
doing the Ted
Naiman off on your homoerotic?
You said you're doing
Ted
the
Naiman
PE diet.
Yes, the PE diet.
I'm just horny for his brain.
If the hard part is, it's way harder than keto.
Okay.
Eating that much protein it's fucking hard.
Right.
It is.
You find you have to really watch.
It's got to all be lean meat.
You got to watch yourself.
It's chicken breast and tuna. Dude, that's it.
It's almost full circle.
To the bodybuilding days.
Right.
Next thing you know, I'm going to be walking around with a fucking milk jug with water in it.
Right.
Because I can't not drink water every 6 seconds. And I'm going to be eating 6 meals a day out of the little Tupperware containers in the gym. In between bench press sets, I'm going to be eating rice. It is. It's coming full circle.
Yeah, because
rice cakes.
And as the keto or carnivore guy, I was always like, chicken breast, that's stupid. Go for the ribeyes.
Eat the fat. Yep.
Go for the ribeyes.
Yep.
Because it's got the perfect mix of fat and protein.
Guess what helps though? Now for me, because I'm trying to lose fat, who isn't?
Right.
Just with the 4th of July right around the corner. So who isn't trying to lose fat? So what helps with me is not just the satiety that comes with the protein itself, but the volume of food that I'm able to eat because there's no fat. So when there's no fat, there's no calories.
Calories go down. So you get a higher volume.
So I'm struggling to get calories.
Right. So
because of the volume, I'm eating so much.
And then, okay, that dovetails nicely into his. See, now the strategy used to be like you said, keep just basically carb restriction. That was how we both approach things: carb restriction, and
to shake the carb addiction.
Right, and
that was the main. For me, that was
prioritize the fat, like you said, like in the keto thing. And for me, it was ribeyes, bacon. Go for the fatty meats, the marbled meats. Those are the best because they had the best ratio of fat to protein.
Because you couldn't get the fat. Fat was hard to get.
Right.
If you try to get to that 70%.
But here's the problem, and here's what he says: the reason that people don't lose body fat doing that is because you're giving your body too much fat, and it won't burn what's on it as easily. I just heard him. And I'll post a link. He was on the Diet Doctor podcast with that really high voice, annoying guy.
I like him though.
He's really, really good, but he lays this out exact. Okay.
Oh, I gotta listen to it now.
Yeah, it's number 70, and I'll put I'll put the link in the show notes, obviously. But it's number 70 in the Diet Doctor podcast. Ted Heyman, he lays it out exactly why, and he's very. I mean, he's been through so many of these interviews now. He's got his He's got his shit dialed.
Oh,
I mean, he knows exactly. And because this Diet Doctor guy is a keto guy.
What? Hardcore.
You know what's funny though is, thank God he's not called the Keto Doctor, because I can hear his brain going, turn the battleship around. Turn the battle. We can't be the Keto Doctor, and thank God we're called Diet Doctor because that works for all diets.
Right. That's why I don't want to be pigeonholed as the keto guy.
Exactly. Right.
Shit changes. I changed my mind, but I've never been diehard keto. I just think it's a wonderful tool for obese people to kick the carb addiction.
Exactly.
And just get started. That's why it's called a keto kickstart.
And if you're going off of the standard American diet, keto is 5 zillion times better. So obviously that kicks ass.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong, but it's you can sense a paradigm shift. I could hear the doctor, I forget his name, Dr. Eric or something.
Eric Berg.
But I could hear him going, uh-oh. Because he was trying to fall back on his standard keto answers. And Ted Name would just be, he'd be like, you're at the range, doing clay pigeons. He'd be like, oh, you got a question? Pull. Oh yeah, fat. Oh, eat more fat. Wow, no, because then your body won't burn what's on it.
Right, that's
asshole. Now what do you think?
Right.
And he was just shooting him down.
Yep.
And he, like you said, he can't be proven wrong.
Right.
Because he's the one guy pushing this.
He doesn't fit into any of the zealots, either on the high carb seco side or even on the far high fat, low carb side.
Right.
They can't put it. He doesn't fit in their box.
Right.
And it drives them crazy.
Yeah, because the keto guys are all, carb haters.
Yep.
And he's like, I don't care. Eat some carbs.
Right.
Just prioritize the protein. And then the high carb guys are like, fat's evil, fat's demonized. And he's like, no, it's not.
Yep.
Right. So it's almost like everybody hates him. Well, not hate. I mean, him being,
well, but I get that.
Everybody disagrees with him, but they can't prove him wrong. And he's like the one guy who's coming right down the middle and going, no, you guys are all getting it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it's flipped me on my head. And I could hear the Diet Doctor going, uh-oh, turn the battleship around. What are we going to do? Because we've been writing all these articles for years on keto, prioritize the fat, eat the fat. And as a pendulum, our episode on the food pyramid, talked about how fat was demonized for so many years, and wrongfully. It's still wrongfully so.
It is. It's still not bad for you.
It doesn't cause heart attacks and stuff. It's just that it's harder to lose weight because you're giving your body a constant supply of fat to burn instead of what's on your body.
Sure, but
at the same
but at the same time, the argument for the ketogenic diet is you're teaching your body to use it.
And you know what Ted Naiman says? He went pull. Oh, you think that, huh? Blam! And then he goes, your body will survive. I forget. You got to listen to number 70 of the Diet Doctor. He says the body will adapt and survive to what it's provided and find a way to navigate that. It basically is the horribly butchered version of his answer.
Okay.
I know. And I was just like you. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
But what about the hundreds of keto podcasts I listen to?
Yeah.
And prioritizing the fat. And he's like, nah. Give your body less fat. And it seems so freaking simple now. Give your body less fat. It'll burn what's on it.
So, right. So that's the only thing he agrees on, bodybuilder diet.
But he does say the one thing that the keto and him agree on is restrict the carbs, especially if you're getting into it.
Right.
Because of the addiction piece.
Yep.
The
mindset change,
the hyperpalatability, all
right.
that. So, but if you rather than just restricting the carbs, if you just concentrate on hitting the protein targets, you will restrict the carbs.
That's how I changed the whole keto thing. And you ready? Is this one ready?
Yep.
Okay. I hope you're ready for this. When I have been focusing on the protein and more carbs, quite a few more carbs, but I exercise a lot, so I'm not going to talk about numbers because people will be like, what, that many carbs?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. When I was focusing on the protein and not eating a ton of processed carbs, if any at all, and I was focusing on low fat at the same time, this will flip to keto people and that'll be the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
I still pissed hot on that keto strip. And I was low fat.
Right.
And I was producing ketones.
Right. And he has an interesting answer on that. You got to listen to number 70 in the Diet Doctor because he talks about the ketones. He's not as worried about ketones. I think he thinks it's fine if they're occurring, but it's not necessary to be in ketosis.
Oh, sure.
And he talks about that. Basically, what you want to be doing is burning the body fat, if that's your goal.
Right.
You know, if you have excess body fat, if you're like me and you're at 21.4 and you're trying to get down to like 15 or whatever, then if your goal is to reduce your body fat percentage, you got to not quit giving your body that fat as fuel and let it burn what's on it. And the way to do that is prioritize the protein. Now, what he does, he kind of, and this is how I am able to think of it in my mind now as a way to make it super bottom line simple. Hit your protein goal every day while staying under your calorie goal, your calorie limit.
Sure.
So if, you know, and I forget the exact numbers, but I think he recommends the,
0.7 to 1.
Higher, I think, like
1 gram.
Of your target body weight too, which is interesting.
Oh.
He doesn't say of your current.
Interesting.
Of your target.
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
Right. So let's say it's 1 gram of protein. So I would hit 170 grams of protein per day while staying under your calorie limit. So that forces you to limit the energy source, the fat or the carbs. So if you do that, then you're going to drop body fat. You're going to lean out.
Well, you're just, it's just a little hack.
You just can't.
It's a little hack to keep yourself to give yourself a little more little buffer to be in more of a deficit.
And it comes back to that satiety per calorie thing. That because the protein has the highest satiety per calorie, whereas fat is bad, really bad with that, because like you said, a teaspoon of heavy cream,
it's 7
not going
million
to fill
calories.
you up, but it's got tons of calories. So you're going to skate right past that.
Double.
Right.
It's double the calories as the other.
Right. So you're going to skate past the calorie goal. So, but if you would have had that same amount of calories and protein, it'd be a lot
and that's
more.
why with the keto people, I just said, stop worrying about the fat. Just cut the carbs.
Right. And when people prioritize the protein, they always eat less calories because it's so much more filling.
Yeah.
And because they're not prioritizing the fat, which has so much more calories in it.
I think Ted Naiman owns stock in chicken breast.
Yeah, it's
because that's about the only protein you can eat.
Okay, I'm about to blow. This blew my mind. Okay, well, here's his book too, the PE Diet. It's like $160 if you buy a physical copy because they literally self-published.
It's a textbook too.
Yeah, I mean it's full of tons of crazy graphics and stuff. But you have the Kindle version. It was like $19, right?
Yeah.
So
but the paper, the real book was only $80.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Can you go up and buy it?
And here's a.
There's a before and after.
And he says same weight in both pictures.
Same weight in both pictures, and
it's probably like 155 or something.
That's when he was eating carbs and working out 50 times a day.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. So, yeah, no, let's see what the hard copy.
Yeah, $80.
$80. So that's not bad. I mean, if it's going to change your life, it's worth it, right?
You're right. I think sometimes I wish I had the actual book, but
yeah. Maybe I'll spring for it. But here's one thing that he mentioned.
That's prime rib.
They both mentioned the protein leverage hypothesis. Have you heard about that? Okay.
Maybe.
This is something they use on cattle. It's a theory that you will animals will eat until they get enough protein. So if you eat something that has a low percentage of protein,
I know what it means.
You're going to keep eating.
It is kind of like,
saying the body.
So that's
for me,
why
this was
so easy.
That was a bomb.
So easy to overeat carbs because your body's going, nope, not done.
Not done. Need more protein.
Yep.
There's nothing in these freaking Doritos.
Right.
Teeny bit of protein.
Void.
You better keep going.
Right.
Exactly. And let me explain.
So that's the hyperpalatable, empty calories. Right. That's always been a philosophy.
That's why you keep going.
Right.
So you keep going.
Because they're empty calories.
And let me explain how they do this with cattle. If they need to fatten up cattle, and make sure they don't lose any mass, that's what they do. And they have observed this effect with cattle. When they're left to their own devices, they'll eat until they hit the protein goals. So they can control how fat the cattle are based on the percentage of protein in their feed.
Sure. Yep.
Because if it's higher percentage of protein in the feed, they'll eat less of it.
That's
if
why
they need
die.
them to eat more calories, they lower the percentage of protein in the feed.
That's why they'll die if they're left to their own devices on corn.
Right.
They'll eat till they die.
Right, because they're never going to get there.
Yep.
So that was that was one of those for me.
For sure.
When he was talking about that, because I was like, wow, okay. So that's why you just keep going. And if you prioritize the protein and you're eating the leaner meats, this is tough though, because it's a lot of stuff that it's flipping the whole paradigm on its head for me.
Yeah. And I question it because I know I've smashed my protein goal and I could still eat.
Yeah. And I don't, I haven't tracked this. I haven't experimented with this yet. But and I'm still learning about it. But if you prioritize the protein, you'll be more full because of the satiety per calorie. And
you won't feel hungry.
Right. You won't feel hungry. Right?
Yeah. Not full. Yeah.
And it results in less calories consumed. And as we know, that's the overall reason whether you're going to drop body fat or not.
Yep.
Is if you're in a caloric deficit. So how do you stay in a caloric deficit more comfortably? You need to be satiated.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember what episode it was. It was very early on, 1 or 2, where we talked about the satiety per calorie that Ted Naiman first brought to our attention, and talked about certain foods. So let's talk about a couple foods and things like myths that for me I had to flip. Okay, bacon and eggs.
Boy, that second paragraph though, right before you shut it off, I was reading it.
Yeah,
that really blows the.
Nope,
keep going down.
This one,
10% daily energy protein is not enough. That just shoots the vegan thing all to shit.
Right.
Because the vegan's whole mantra is you don't need as much protein. You don't need protein.
Yeah, you just got in an argument with somebody.
Yeah, not an argument, but
a civil discussion.
A passionate discussion with someone on the Twitters. Go figure. Twitter, but by the way, has been surprisingly civil lately.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's probably
the Earth must be on its axis, magnetic axis or something.
Or it's because they kicked somebody off.
It's the UFOs. It's the UFOs.
They kicked a certain someone off. But
wrong.
Speaking of, but the discussion was, the guy said you can get all your daily protein just from beans, and I said, dude, for me to get my daily, according to Ted Naiman, and according to my stomach and my muscle mass and me being able to lift heavy things, I know that in order to get my daily protein allowance or goal from just beans, I'd have to eat 3,058 calories from black beans.
That's a lot. A lot of beans.
That'd be all I eat.
Right.
To stay in a deficit.
Yeah.
Because I'm in a deficit.
I'm
at a 500 calorie deficit at 3,000.
So they're not high enough percentage of protein per gram or, per weight or whatever.
Well, there's just no fucking protein in it.
Right.
It's a stupid point. It's a stupid point.
Even Ted Naiman, because he does get questioned about the vegan, vegetarian,
and he supports angle. It. He said it's possible.
He says it's possible, but
it's
he's
fucking hard.
He's talking about soy and stuff like that. And you really got to thread the needle.
People take soy protein shakes,
right?
But that also
comes with its own set of challenges.
Well, according to some experts,
as whole foods,
right? But the soy. Well, I mean, I'm a advocate. I drink collagen, peptides, protein every day.
And it's a way to get there.
And it helps me get there every single time. But soy, allegedly, according to some studies, suggests that
titties.
It really increases your estrogen.
Got the man titties.
Yeah, I don't want moobs.
Nope. Yeah, that's kind of defeats the whole purpose. If we got to start wearing a C cup.
Right. So, yeah, that was the whole point there when it says the daily. But the guy that was arguing with me, the vegan, who was debating me, said you only need 10% of your total caloric intake to be from protein.
Not enough.
He said everything else just gets flushed out as waste. I'm like, you must belong to a lot of private vegan Facebook groups.
Oh, yeah. That's one of their mantras for sure. I don't see how you're doing it. I mean, and that's why a lot of vegans, we see look pretty sickly and not very muscular, and they're, kind of wasting away, in my opinion. You really have to thread that needle. If you're going to be the vegan bodybuilder, you got to really overachieve.
Soy protein shakes.
Yeah, you got
6 times a day.
Yeah, you got to. It's not going to come natural, and So let's talk about a couple myths. So for me, like the bacon and eggs thing, fucked me up. Okay, Ted Naiman says, and not that Ted Naiman's our god now, but we're talking about protein, and this was a mind bomb.
Bacon's a no-no.
Turkey bacon.
No, beef bacon is a no, or pork bacon's a no-no.
Yeah, he's saying turkey bacon because it's lower fat.
Watch the sodium. Watch the sodium for those of you at home.
So he's saying go with the higher protein. Eggs.
Egg whites.
He says mix egg whites.
Fucking bodybuilders were right all along.
I know. Fuck. And and I don't know how many episodes ago, but I've said this thousands of times. Eggs are the perfect food, and it's not like you're going to go wrong eating eggs, but if you're trying to hit this particular approach right on the nuts, you got to do a mix. And what he says is mix a certain amount of egg whites.
I just prefer fried eggs. That's my
me
problem.
Too. Well, he says mix in an egg and some egg whites. So not just pure egg whites.
Oh, okay.
Just change the ratio. So like have two eggs worth of eggs whites and then an egg.
Okay.
Like throw in an egg with every 2 eggs worth of egg whites, and I don't know, a cup or whatever. I don't know.
And then not break the yolk and then
change
just
the
throw
ratio.
It in the frying pan.
Yeah, I guess, or do it scrambled or whatever.
I don't like scrambled eggs. I just said that.
Oh,
that's why I like fried eggs.
I thought you meant you just don't like egg whites.
No. I like egg whites. It's scrambled.
Right.
But I just like
the yolky, runny egg.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. And I love ribeyes more than lean meats.
Right. But the I don't mind scrambled eggs. It's just so much more work.
Yeah. So that one was a big one. Like the eggs and bacon. It's like, shit, now I got to eat egg whites and turkey bacon. I feel like,
Dude,
what happened to all the ribeyes and eggs and bacon that I could have?
You know what I had for lunch?
What?
Breakfast sausage from chicken.
Chicken sausage?
Yep.
Okay. See?
Costco's got so many chicken and turkey processed meats like that.
Oh, yeah.
You got to watch out for the sodium, though.
Yeah.
That'll sneak up on you.
And interestingly, he never talked about that, so I don't know what, his position is on that, or what.
Well, his position is probably
just
eat flesh.
Right. Stick to stay away from the processed stuff. Is probably what he would say.
Yep. Just eat natural flesh.
Yeah. So for me, the hit the protein goal while staying under the calorie limit per day. That's an easy way to express it. Here's another one that was kind of a myth buster. He said, salads, high volume, low calorie per volume, not a ton of protein, but a lot of protein considering the amount of volume you get. So you get fuller, right? So he's not against, like, I would have thought he would have said, don't eat salads because where's the protein? Well, because there's so much volume there, it fills you up. So the satiety per calorie is very high.
Sure.
So like a salad with some, lean meat on it.
Mm-hmm. That's what I eat.
And I was like, damn. So
Grilled chicken breast.
Myth
take
shot.
Chicken breasts off the grill, cube them up, throw them in with cucumbers and mini peppers and mushrooms.
And see, to me, I would think cucumbers worthless, but I guess they're good for filling you up.
Yep. But there's micronutrients.
Yeah, there's some in there, but so it was really turning some shit on its head for me.
That's why me and Mal every day we eat a Tupperware bowl, like huge Tupperware bowl
Of salad.
No greens.
Of what?
Mushrooms.
Oh.
Mini peppers, carrots, cucumbers, whatever other vegetable we find.
Yeah.
I just load it up.
It's just, I don't know. He has me all verklempt.
It's like only.
Right. I got the vapors. Got the lean meat vapors. So listen to that number 70
But
diet.
guess
doctor.
what lean meat is? Boring as fuck.
Right.
It's so boring.
Well, that's why bodybuilders and the strongmen, they look at it as a chore.
It is a chore.
They don't look at it like, oh, I love this. They're like, fuck, I got to eat again.
Especially like I just mentioned a minute ago, at 3,000 calories, I'm in a deficit. And you know how much?
That's a lot of food.
You know how much 3 calories is with low fat and low carb?
3,000, yeah. It's a lot of freaking volume.
It's like Mel says, you eat like it's your job.
Right.
I can't fast anymore.
Right.
I can't because I can't skip breakfast because there's no way I'm getting that food in that window.
Right. Yeah, because if you're doing like intermittent fasting, time restricted feeding,
I have 6
can't cram
hours.
it in.
No.
You literally don't have the capacity,
Nope.
the digestive capacity for it.
No, I don't. And I end up
Whereas if it's a
under-eating.
ribeye and heavy cream and stuff, it's easy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah.
But, it all depends on your goals, and I'd say from the average person out there is trying to drop their percentage of body fat.
For sure.
So, if that's your goal, take a look at this PE diet, Ted Naiman.
It's good stuff.
Good stuff, man. All right. Well,
Yeah. He gets a little bit into the weeds, but
yeah, he comes from an engineering background, so he approaches everything like it's a complex engineering problem, even though he's a doctor.
Right.
So yeah, he can get way deep in the weeds, but on this particular episode of the Diet Doctor, it was very easy to understand.
Sure.
And you can tell he's got a big brain on him.
Oh, yeah.
But I was grasping it all, and it made sense, and it was really like laid out very succinctly. So it's a good one to get started on this.
Episode 70. I'll turn that on when I leave.
Do it, man. It's really good. All right, well, let's get into a sad tale of
how fat is Josh?
pretty fat.
I'm starting to realize that.
Look at this.
Holy sheep shit.
Right.
Vacation Josh is different than everyday Josh.
You know what? Remember last time when I went to Phoenix a month or two back, and I maintained, I worked out.
Did you take any of my advice?
The same way? No.
Okay.
I was like, Dewey who? I'm going to eat this Krispy Kreme. In fact, not only did I was like an alcoholic. I was like Nicolas Cage in Leaving Las Vegas, except for with carbs.
At least you got home.
Yeah. It was, I got run, not only did I fall off the wagon, but it ran over me with its big cinnamon wheel.
And then
cinnamon
backed
roll
up.
wheels.
And backed up over you.
Oh, dude, it was bad.
So what'd you start at?
196 or whatever. 194.6. But this is extreme. This is literally just this morning, and I got back yesterday, so I haven't eaten a bite since I got back. So I know tomorrow I'm going to be down like 5 pounds, and I'll be right.
You are fasting?
Yeah, I'm 20 hours in right now, so
Oh.
it's gonna go right back down. And I worked out last night; it felt good. So I'm right back on track, and I'm gonna Will Smith this shit. So I expect next week I'll probably be right back where I was last week, and then it's gonna keep going from there. And I'm gonna try prioritizing the protein.
But look, this is a perfect illustration.
And I'm just laying it out there, people.
This is the perfect illustration
This
for
is
the folks
shameful
at
for
home.
me. Shameful.
But you know what it is? It was.
Not linear.
I'm gonna go.
for sure.
I'm gonna go on vacation and I'm gonna enjoy it with my family.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Oh, they weren't there.
Oh, I thought you were with your family.
Just kidding. Yeah, they were.
All right. No,
I went by myself just so I could pay.
I wasn't
out.
surprised. It's not uncommon.
I just went there to study fat people with my clipboard, my Krispy Kremes.
Or your family, your other family.
The Orlando family.
Right. No, but my point is, yes, you went on vacation, you pigged out, you had fun, you ate what you wanted to, you enjoyed it, and now you came home and
I ate what 3 people wanted to.
right. And scroll back to the left again. 3. Or 2/10, February 10th. Now scroll back.
Oh, I wiped out like 2 months worth of gains.
Yeah.
In like one weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
If that's not.
Oh, it's easy to climb back up, dude.
So when people say, I was good all week, and then this weekend I just, I had a cheat meal. I just rewarded myself.
You just erased everything you did that week, probably.
For 2 months, in your case.
Right.
I mean, you'll be back to normal quickly, but you're starting back over in February.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and also
You didn't
I've
gain,
been stalled for a
but
long
you didn't
time,
gain
too.
7 pounds of fat.
No.
In 3 days. So you're full of water. You're full of carbs.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you measure me while we're at it?
It'll come off. Do you really want to?
Yeah. I got to document this shit.
But it just illustrates how easy it is to come back.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I'm hoping to get across when I recover.
Like the nickel avocado dude.
Right. He could.
Oh, we broke it.
Yeah, you can.
No, it broke, dude.
What? What happened?
No, how fast Josh this week. Remember last week it broke?
That's right. I forgot.
Sucked back into the thing.
That's right. You snapped it. All right. Well, we'll catch up with that next week. But
I can eyeball it. You're
suffice to
like,
say,
you're
I'm
like
probably-
41.
Probably not. I'm probably at 36. I'm guessing I gained a half. See, I don't feel like super fat. I feel
You're just full of water.
yeah, exactly. So I don't feel like I packed on a bunch of actual body fat.
But now you should lift. Get that volume. Get that pump.
You know what? I've been doing progressive overload. So on my bench press, when I got my rack from PRX Performance, I could finally bench in safety because of the spotter arms. So I went from doing, I think I started like 20-pound dumbbells and then went up to 40s, then 40, and then 45s. Then I got on the bar. So that was basically 90 pounds, right? So then up to 90, then 100 and 100. I went up basically 10 pounds a week. And now I was at 130 last night for, 4 sets of 10. And it just feels like it's about the same amount of effort. Like it's right on the edge of,
Sure.
I could barely eke out the last one of the last set. But it's going up every week. So I haven't capped out yet to see where I can't go another. And that's where I'm going to stay for a while. And then I'm going to try to inch up like 5 pounds, at least 5 pounds a week, to try to force my body to adapt to that stimulus. So I don't know, for a relatively skinny guy of, 50 years old where that falls, and I don't care. For me, I just need to go harder every week. And as long as that number is moving up, then I'm getting there.
So be it.
Yep. So
I
I
did
feel pretty good about it,
150
though.
today
Yeah.
for 10 in each hand.
I knew there was a trap. I knew that was a trap.
It felt good, though, those 150-pound dumbbells. It felt good.
So freaking harder to do with dumbbells.
It is.
I mean, I could barely get the 45 dumbbells up,
Yep.
but doing 90 pounds on the bar was easy.
Yep.
It's crazy how much
It's
harder.
spread out.
Just
Stabilization.
and just trying to
Yep.
stabilize that with each arm is so much harder.
Well, and a lot of times what ends up happening with the bar is you're dominant. So
Yeah.
one
Oh,
side's going
right.
to carry more of the load.
Yeah.
But it's still going to go up.
Could overcompensate, yeah.
Yep. That's why, like, when I get the 150, like, though I had the 150s today, and I would get them like this, and then I'm left-handed, so it was like,
That one's going quicker.
oh, yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yep. Much easier.
Yeah, it's
But you can manipulate it.
Right.
You can find your groove.
Yeah.
You're like, it's almost to the point where you
have the
figure
most
it.
strength.
Well, and you figure it out like with your shoulder, it's like right here, and you're like, oh, it's almost like it like drops into like a groove,
oh yeah.
and it's like, whoosh, and it
where the
just
muscles
slides.
are lined up.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, this is my natural position.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not fighting it with the bar.
Right.
This isn't my natural position because this hand, I like.
Yeah,
over
because it
here.
can go in and out independently.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Makes sense.
and you get stronger. Your shoulders get stronger.
Yeah, I think
everything gets stronger with dumbbells.
and one thing I'm learning with just my limited experience in this is you got to vary it up too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I will never I'm doing bench press now because I did dumbbells for so long.
Sure.
But I think it's important because then after I did bench press, and I did like flies with dumbbells and I did overhead press with dumbbells. So I'll probably go back to doing bench press with dumbbells too after I do like, a few weeks of this.
Right.
Because I notice a different part of the muscle's sore.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Doing the bar versus even though it feels like exactly the same motion,
right?
Because of the things you just mentioned, the stabilizing and everything. It's
a different movement.
Yeah, it seems like it's more in the upper
for sure.
chest.
That's why bodybuilders will do flat bench, incline, decline, and dumbbell. It's different.
Every freaking angle.
Yep.
Yeah. Crazy.
Just who has 2.5 hours?
No shit. All right, guys. Well, that's our show for this week. So make sure you send emails to info@fitandfurious.com if you got questions, topic ideas, complaints,
fitness, topic ideas. Doesn't
praise.
have to just be food.
Yeah, we'll take it all. Watch it. Make sure you're watching on YouTube to check out all the extra shenanigans. You want to see what those people in the 1910s look like on the beach, don't you? You want to see what Ted Naiman looks like with his rock hard abs. Mm-hmm. I'm just.
It's okay. We're all on the spectrum.
I'm just hoarding.
Don't feel bad.
Yeah, that's right. What was that movie?
I don't know.
Kinsey. What's that guy? That sexologist. Kinsey.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Why do you think I'd watch?
That was a rabbit hole.
Somebody with that.
It's a biography movie, but he talks about nobody's like 100% heterosexual.
No, of course not.
Everybody's one. It's like 1 through 6, and he developed a scale.
Spectrum.
When I see Ted Naiman, I'm a 5.
What is there? What's a spectrum?
Normally I'm a 1. I'm over here on the hetero side.
It's a something scale.
I see
something
Ted
spectrum.
Naiman, I'm a 5. It's just how it works. Okay, whatever.
It's Tom Brady for me.
Yes, you're not wrong. So, yeah, watch on YouTube to check out those extra shenanigans, and make sure you check us out on Apple Podcasts. I just realized we weren't on Google Podcasts, but we are now. So if you like Google Podcasts, check that out.
I didn't know that was a thing until just now.
It is. Yeah, I realized we weren't being distributed there, but now we are, so check it out. Make sure you go to FuriousMerch.com and get yourself a cool Real Food Pyramid shirt with the tasty animals on it.
I got to get that for my father-in-law.
Yes. Those are available at FuriousMerch.com, and we will see you next week.